Company 3M, they may be poisoning the water in Alabama. 100,000 plus people in Alabama have been given a notice not to use their tap water due to chemical contamination. Not even boiling it makes this water drinkable until possibly the fall. Now, this is what the municipal authority in this area had to say about the advice. He says, "I would rather be overcautious than undercautious. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a chemist. But when they tell one class of people the water is not safe, I don't want to be the one to say you drink it and you don't. So I say nobody drink it." Well, Joe, what about bathing in it? Boiling doesn't even make it safe. There's no temperature that makes this water safe for consumption. It looks like they would go the extra mile. This temporary system that they want to put in place, $4 million. They say that it's not even going to be up and running until September of this year.
You know, this company 3M, it's $30 billion a year company in terms of annual sales, and they create a lot of very little intricate products. They create tapes, sellotapes, adhesives, the non-stick material that goes on your cookware to make your cookware non-stick. So we're talking about sort of glues and adhesive, these kinds of things. Some of them obviously resistant to water. We're talking about a lot of chemical processing here, materials like Teflon being used. And obviously along with manufacturing products like this come the use of chemicals, the use of testing chemicals. And this company has come under fire before. They had a previous contamination of the Mississippi River, and they had to pay around $56 million to clean up that disaster. I will say that they have also been putting in a lot of efforts to their environmental work. I'm not completely dogging this company. They've done a lot of good work as well. They put a lot of resources and time into into developing clean energy resources, clean energy transit, things like this. But obviously with their tapes, with their adhesives, with this kind of product manufacturing comes these sort of issues that you have to deal with in terms of the chemicals being used. And so it's not surprising that they now have another problem going on with the water surrounding in Alabama.
Right, you mentioned the Mississippi River being contaminated. We're talking about the Tennessee River here, and this does affect a lot of people, over 100,000 plus. That's how many they think are using this water supply. We're talking about tap water here, and contaminated with these chemicals that could cause cancer, birth defects, developmental problems in children. And when you have an advisory like this, there's a lot of scare, and we were talking about specifically the earlier part of this year, Flint, that really opened up the debate in this country, what's safe and what's not. But this is specifically a municipality saying this water is not safe to consume, but there doesn't seem to be another avenue for people other than drinking bottled water, bathing in bottled water, to be able to avoid these problems.
Well, it will be the company, as they did a number of years ago in the Mississippi River case, it will be the company's responsibility to clean up the mess that they have made. And as I mentioned, they had to pay $56 million in that case. So I presume it will be their responsibility again. The EPA has been, the Environmental Protection Agency has been investigating 3M. They've been keeping them under surveillance since 1999 because, as I mentioned, it is the kind of company that, despite environmental efforts, despite doing their best, they are obviously dealing with some very toxic chemicals.
Well, the EPA has come out saying this chemical contamination, it affects pregnant women and small children the most. We know that there's serious risk links to liver damage, thyroid problems, cancer, birth defects, drinking contaminated water. It looks like 3M is on the hook at this moment, but there are other companies that this local county had sued before last October to make sure that they clean up the water supply. It looks though right now, roughly 100,000 Alabamans, they are not able to drink their own tap water because yet another company has polluted their water supply.